straight away. This one's definitely coming home.
Hey everybody, Paz here. Apologies, there'll be no original video this week. Currently off crook and with barely a voice to speak of. Still, I'm not going to sit here, I like to keep busy, so I've decided to go back through some of my older footage and compile a little bit of a recap of one of my better sessions on the Tailor. It's going to be kind of an informal video. I usually speak to a script. Truthfully, I feel a little bit uncomfortable speaking in front of a camera. Just feel like I sound like a bit of an idiot. But hey, we'll see how this goes. This was a session I had back in May when I had the old Kayak. One of the better sessions I've had on the Swan chasing Tailor. We'll see how long my voice lasts, so let's take a look at it and I hope you enjoy. So I decided to, on an impulse, whack the kayak on the top of the car when I went to work and go out for a paddle in the afternoon. As luck would have it, it was one of those afternoons where it was just dead glassy. I mean, you could bounce a coin off the surface of this one at that point. Yeah, I had my double clutches as I usually do. I decided to keep the red one for a little bit, just chucked out my Goldie. I just put a new assist hook on the back, replaced the treble, just to see how it would go. And a twisty as well. I don't usually use twisties unless I'm side casting, but decided to give it a shot just for something different. Yeah, I launched at Applecross and absolutely I love launching from there because it's flat, it's easy to get in the kayak, especially for me not being that flexible. But yeah, the only difficulty is if there are no fish busting up right at your feet, it can be a fair paddle to find them. Still, I'll take a bit of stability over that, and plus, hey, paddling an extra K or two doesn't really faze me. I mean, gotta get fit somehow, I guess. I cast a little bit, and yeah, hadn't really found anything. So, I just switched up my lures, and yeah, headed out to the vast expanses of the Swan. Yeah, I saw a bird bust up in the distance, and kind of altered my course to intercept it. And as luck would have it, the Tailor school water started boiling around us. Never seen anything quite like it in the Swan. They were jumping, they were erupting. It was, yeah, something else. So tried to get ahead of it as best I could, and yeah, dropped both lures. Got a hit straight away. Yeah, it was the definitely a size one. You can feel that they pull that a little bit harder. And yeah, unfortunately I spat the lure on the first one. But yeah, given how the water was boiling, I wasn't really too miffed. Just kind of recast it and then, yeah, tried to go again. You see him busting up in the distance there. All I had to do was drag my lure across it and there we go. That's all she wrote. It's actually quite rare that the red doesn't hook up first. I mentioned before it's my go-to double clutch. For some reason, Tailor just seemed to love it. But today, yeah, they smashed the gold first up. There was no real rhyme or reason to it. Very lively. Took me a while to kind of get them under control. Elegant use of the net there, as you can see. Yeah, I don't like to keep more than I really need. But a few people have been asking for some at that point, so I decided to keep a few more than I usually do. So by that point the school had shifted, so I decided to move with them. I didn't have to paddle that far actually. It was only about 2 minutes of paddling, and yeah, the black rod went off this time. Black rod's rated a bit lighter than my other ones, so it's a little bit of a more of a tussle to get them in. Also wrapped around my other line, so I cut out the bit where I had to actually do a couple of revolutions around the other rod, and the fish was still fighting hard. I actually had to get the net, which usually I can lift him straight into the kayak, but not this time round. No dramas. Red Double Clutch does it again. pretty much straight away hooked up another one. There's actually a fish sitting on my lap during this point, so I was kind of hoping I didn't get spiked by a lure in the nethers. But yeah, just when they're like this, all you need to do is just cast your lure out to where you think they are and just retrieve it at significant speed, and they'll go after it like nobody's business. I was actually a bit worried about the assist hook being too big for the Tailor, but that one just scoffed it. Basically it ate half the lure, and it took me a while to get it out of there. So throwing that one back wasn't really an option. Lucky it was size. Yeah, it was just cast after cast. I would have caught about 20 fish all up. I only ended up keeping 5, but it was just one of those days where everything was on. Right place, right time. School was there, the bait fish weren't really moving. And yeah, it was very, very fun. I almost got spiked in the hand here. That's what I get for trying to show off. So I decided to leave him alone. At this point the wind was kicking up slightly, but not too much, so I decided to hang around for another half an hour, seeing as you don't get sessions like this every day. The only thing I disliked about my old kayak, aside from being an absolute barn door, was that the lack of a rudder meant that even the slightest fish could kind of twist it, and I crossed my lines fairly frequently. I became kind of an expert at untangling things at this point, but that was one of the reasons why I was thinking about getting a new kayak at this point. Just something with a rudder to be able to keep it straight. As you can see, I'm not the most coordinated guy going around. It just seemed that wherever I stopped, or wherever I threw my lures, there was a Tailor waiting there. We've all had those sessions that are really magic, and the Tailor were fighting hard, and it was just absolute gold. That one was hit right next to the kayak. They were just so aggressive. They were having to go at literally anything. Honestly, I probably could have stuck a drinking straw on the end of my line and they would have had a go at it. I do like to let them wear themselves out a little bit if I have the time. That way, you know, a little bit less shaking around, a little less hooks flying everywhere. This one still had a little bit of fight left in him, but in a different way. He vomited on me, basically a whole whiting, as soon as I picked him up. Probably was holding him pretty tight, but hey, it's not cool fish, not cool. When I put him down, he actually ended up in my boot. He really flopped around a fair bit, so I had to disengage him from being a fashion piece and get him the esky. Now at that point I was starting to get a little bit late, and I was starting to get a tiny bit concerned that I wouldn't be able to get back to the shore and onto the car before darkness set in significantly. But hey, you know, if the fish are firing, you gotta stay as long as you can. So I kind of hedged my bets on one last fish. I knew this would be the last fish, so I drew it out as long as I could. Luckily it was a fairly decent size. And with that, started hauling ass back to where I launched. Took me about half an hour of solid paddling to get there. Those lures were torn up. I'm still using them, they still work, but geez, those teeth are something else. Anyway, 5 good fish caught. Really enjoyed the session. I hope you enjoyed this recap, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you like the whole informal thing, and I'll try to do more of it. If not, I'll resume regular programming. Hope to be better and back out on the water soon. It sucks that the kayak's finally repaired and I can't use it. But still, yeah, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Or don't. Either way, I'm still going fishing. As always, this video is dedicated to my 2 sons. This is Paz, Wishing you fair winds and tight lines. Until next time.